has 0 views. I worked this hard and this is the thanks I get. How to video. Please, internet, don't fail me. Internet, please. Thank you, okay. Hello there. You're probably in extreme danger because of an earthquake I may have caused. But before we begin, we make sure to smash that like button and ring that notification bell. Anyways, I'm assuming that you are experiencing an earthquake. But first, let's look at a previous example of an earthquake. Well, in 2004, an earthquake we call the Boxing Day earthquake happened. The Boxing Day earthquake was a whole 9.1 magnitude earthquake, and it was mainly in Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, and Thailand, and it reached all the way to Antarctica. This earthquake killed over 280,000 people. This disaster had short-term impacts and long-term impacts. First of all, let's define what these terms mean. Short-term impacts are what happened directly due to the disaster, while long-term impacts are what happens after the event and are caused by the short-term impact. For example, if a tsunami happened, that would be a short-term impact. And if a disease spread due to that tsunami and infected the population, killing them all, that would be a long-term impact. But before we continue, I'd like to talk about our sponsor.
Ryan, we talked about this. We're not doing this in the video right now.
Shut the hell up, Gerald. But before we continue, I'd like to talk about our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is an amazing game, which is why they sponsor us all the time. And in that game, you can do a bunch of stuff. Anyways, the short-term impacts of this earthquake were the number of people killed from the act of this earthquake destroying buildings, or from tsunamis destroying buildings as well. The fact that many buildings were destroyed by the earthquakes and tsunami, and the supplies destroyed by the fire, impacted the long-term impacts as well. Now, the long-term impacts caused by these events were the diseases spread by the tsunami and the trauma left on the people who lost friends and families to this earthquake. One thing to think about is back when this earthquake happened, no prevention, mitigation, or preparation, which I'll explain later, strategies happened because they weren't put in place at the time. In fact, these strategies only went mainstream in 2006 because of what happened due to this incident. The earthquake had an economical impact on the countries involved, since it cost billions of dollars to repair, and a social impact because of the emotional scar left on people afterwards. Now, you might have heard people talk about geomorphic hazards or tectonic plates. Well, I'll briefly tell you what some of these terms mean. A geomorphic hazard is a problem to do with tectonic plates, and tectonic plates are like pieces of land, which water can also be found of depending on the type. Go. Hey Gerald, did you record that 5 hours of talking I did on those cool terms?
Yeah, just continue with the video.
Right. Oh wait, on? Oh, okay. Now, let's talk about what you're here for what you're supposed to do in an earthquake. But before I tell you how to save your life, let's explain the terms to do with saving yourself. There are 3 terms to do with saving yourselves from an earthquake. The first term is called preparation, and that is how you prepare for an earthquake beforehand. Now, this info is useless by now because an earthquake is probably already happening. Anyways, to be ready, all television and radio stations should switch to an earthquake warning. You should be ready to coordinate your evacuation, and the government should be ready for their resources to be used for the recovery. Now, what you should do is prepare a small bag with some of your belongings and supplies. Make sure to stay away from high ground and large buildings. Make sure to either reach a shelter, and if you are unable to do so, stay in your house near bolted down furniture. Make sure that nothing like tall shelves, windows, or TVs are nearby. If they hit you, you could get stuck. Finally, make sure to stop, drop, and roll and stay in the cover. If the earthquake process is the idea of reducing the amount of damage to the environment. You can consider that the mitigation process. Finally, the last term is preventation. Preventation is how you specifically protect yourself in advance. The best way of doing this is to strengthen your house. Now, let's explain some more. What do you mean, Zero? The video is over. I need to explain more terms.
No.